National Crime Victims Week starts tomorrow. Kim Moyer with Marsy's Law here today. Good to see you, Kim.
Hi, Scott. Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it.
All right, so there's a lot going on. Let's start with Marsy's Law. You were very instrumental in legislation years ago, but you're still around, kind of in a different formation now. Right.
We have a volunteer advisory board that we work with that represents crime victims and advocates from all over the state. We have victim advocates that have done work in this field for years. We've got crime victims who represent all kinds of different facets of the way crimes impact people, and it's really important to them that this constitutional amendment is accessible in its information that's available to crime victims, because you just never know. You may be a crime victim tomorrow, you just don't know that it's coming, and we want to make sure that information is there when you need it.
All right, got some events going on this weekend, today actually?
Yes, actually today we're going to be helping out with the YWCA Oklahoma City's Reduce the Odds. It's a great event they hold to bring awareness about sexual assault and the problems that it impacts on our community. You know, during the pandemic it was really difficult. While some crimes were down, property crimes were down, violent crime was actually up in our community. Homicides were up, domestic violence was up, and so those incidents are really kind of problematic, and it's great to know that we have a network of advocates that we all work with together to bring awareness to people about the problems crime victims face.
So that'd be a good time to say nice things about Jan Peary at YWCA, who does all this great work. It's not surprising, by the way, you talked about people were locked up, drinking was up, jobs were down. There was all of this stuff was fuel to the fire for DV, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we did receive lots of phone calls from people wanting to know what access to victims' rights do we have? How do I find that information? So it was good that we laid the groundwork starting all the way back in 2017 when we started with our public awareness campaign about this issue. So it's really important people know that not only were we effective back then, but we still have a whole group of advocates. Our advisory board is really instrumental in helping us pin down issues that range all the way from crime victims impacted by the McGirt decision all the way up to people who are impacted by crime, you know, that could be impacted tomorrow.
Okay, so we've got there's still developments in criminal justice reform. We've got a bond issue June the 28th, a new Oklahoma County jail. It's virtually, the media sort of lost track of all of this. What do our viewers, people that are concerned about these issues, what do we need to be thinking about in terms of where we're headed?
So it's really important that all advocates, elected officials, and everyone know that we do have a constitutional amendment in place and statutory requirements for law enforcement, district attorneys to give information to crime victims. No matter what happens in the political realm, no matter what changes we make in systems. And so it's always good to know and remind everybody that even if there are criminal justice changes that are made, that there's still a really solid system in place to help crime victims get the information about hearings, that they're notified about the proximity of where their offender might be, information about how to access your rights and what to do about that. So we've tried to build a system that not only met the needs of crime victims back when we first started, but will actually grow and develop as society kind of moves along, so that when there are changes to the systems, that crime victims still know there's a system in place to help them.
Got about 20 seconds. Is the media doing enough, people like me, to talk about the plight of victims in Oklahoma?
You know,
Can we do more?
We always want to do more. We always want to do more talking about how victims and survivors of crime need resources, need help. So there's always room for that voice and telling victim story.
Kim Moyer, Marsy's Law, thanks for being here. Thanks for reminding us that there's still crime and there's still victims out there we need to be thinking about them.
Thank you.
See this again at news9.com/yourvotecounts and follow me on Twitter @MitchellTalks.